Once upon a heart-to-heart time. Inside the house of love. The fireplace glowed softly beneath the warm amber light while deep crimson shadows danced gently along the walls. The air felt quiet tonight. Not empty. Just deeply still. As though love himself was preparing to share something sacred. The child of love sat quietly beside him on the seat of love, wrapped beneath the comforter of peace while the father of love slowly stirred the fire. Above the mantel, glowing softly in golden light, were the words, "Love holds all things," and near the doorway of the house, written beautifully in warm golden script, was the gentle reminder, "Where love is home, and home is love." The child of love looked at the words quietly while the fire crackled softly nearby. Then love himself turned toward the child with eyes full of compassion and whispered softly, "Child of love, there are many hearts in this world that feel like empty rooms." The child looked up quietly as love continued. Some people spend their whole lives trying to escape that room. They fill every moment with noise, distractions, busyness, relationships, achievements, anything to avoid sitting quietly inside their own heart long enough to feel the ache that lives there. The fire flickered gently across the crimson walls. But eventually, the day grows quiet. The distractions fade. The world slows down. And every heart must return to that room again. Love himself leaned back gently, his voice carrying the warmth of heaven itself. "Child of love, I want to share a story with you tonight. A story about a girl who spent a long time trying to fill an emptiness only love could fill." The fireplace crackled softly beside them. Then Love himself whispered, "This story is called The Empty Room." And with that, Love himself began telling the story. She walked into the room she had been avoiding all day. She had kept herself busy with many things. Mostly unimportant things. Anything to distract herself from having to think about what waited for her there. But now the curtains had closed on the day. Night had come. The world had grown quiet. And when the night becomes still, every heart eventually returns to itself. So there she stood, in the middle of the room. It felt dark, quiet, empty. No voices, no comfort, no evidence that anyone had ever truly stayed. The loneliness inside the room felt unbearable. Part of her wanted to run again. But she couldn't, because the room was her heart. So she stood there waiting. Waiting for something. Waiting for someone. Waiting for the emptiness to finally stop hurting. And then, suddenly, light filled the room. Not harsh light. Not frightening light. It was a warm, living, holy, comforting light. And there he was. Jesus. The moment she saw him, her whole heart awakened. She ran into his arms with tears streaming down her face. "How long have you been here?" she whispered. "Were you here this whole time?" And Jesus smiled with the gentleness only love himself could carry. "Yes. I promised you I would never leave you. And I meant every word." The room glowed brighter around them, as he held her close. "I was here even while you searched everywhere else trying to fill this room with things that could never satisfy your heart." Then he gently touched the center of her chest right where her heart was and whispered, "Child, this room belongs to me." Her tears fell harder now. But they no longer felt hopeless. They felt healing. "I have waited for you here patiently. The emptiness you felt was never punishment. It was my invitation calling you back home." The room seemed alive now, glowing with golden warmth. No one else was ever meant to carry the weight of filling this room for you. Human love can bless your life beautifully. But only my love can become the life within your heart itself. She listened quietly while every broken place inside her softened beneath his presence. Back beside the warm fire inside the house of love, the child of love sat quietly absorbing every word. Then Love himself spoke softly once more. Others may walk beside you in life. They may love you sincerely. They may carry beautiful purposes in your journey. But there is a place within you so sacred, so deep, that only I can fully enter there. The child of love sitting beside the fire felt tears forming now too as Love himself spoke softly into the quietness of the house. This is what I have always wanted people to understand. He whispered. I never wanted to simply visit their hearts occasionally. I wanted to make my home there. And I wanted them to discover that my heart could become their home too. The firelight reflected softly in his eyes. This is what intimate communion is all about, child of love. Not religion. Not performance. Not striving. But two hearts becoming so joined in love that loneliness loses its voice. Then he smiled gently and pointed once more toward the glowing words above the mantel. Because where love is home, and home is love, loneliness no longer has a permanent place to stay. The fire crackled softly again as the story continued unfolding before the child of love like living memories. Back inside the story, the girl no longer felt empty. The more she looked at him, the less aware she became of herself. The loneliness disappeared. The striving and the ache disappeared. Only he remained. His presence filled every corner of the room. The train of his robe filled the entire place with glory and peace until there was no darkness left anywhere. And then something even more beautiful happened. The room itself disappeared. And everywhere she looked, she could only see him. He had become her resting place, her safety, her fullness, her home. Love himself truly had become the home inside her heart. Then Love himself stepped through her life like light pouring through an open doorway. And he began reaching other wounded hearts through the healing he had done within her. Because hearts that become filled with his love eventually become places where other hurting hearts encounter him too. The fireplace crackled softly again inside the house of love. Then Love himself gently lifted the child of love's chin and whispered, "This is what I want your experience to be too. I want you to know what it feels like to stop searching outside yourself for what can only be found inside communion with me." His voice grew even softer now. I want my heart to become your home. And your heart to become my home. The warm amber glow wrapped around them both like heaven's own comforter. And when you finally discover that I was never absent, never distant, never gone, you will realize that the emptiness was never proof that love had abandoned you. Then he gently touched the child of love's heart and whispered, "It was simply love calling you back home. And perhaps, even now, some quiet part of your own heart is recognizing the truth hidden inside this story. Maybe the emptiness was never proof that you were forgotten. Maybe it was simply love himself calling you back home too. Back to the place where love is home, and home is love. Back to the room he never left. Back to the heart that has been waiting for you all along. And there, inside the quietness of his presence, you may finally discover that the very thing you thought was emptiness was actually love himself, waiting for you. Heart to heart in his love. Momo Smiley. This House of Love storytime was additionally inspired by weaving in the deeply touching story, The Empty Room by an unknown author. This heart-to-heart retelling imagines Love himself sharing the meaning of the empty room story with the child of love as they especially spend heart-to-heart time together inside the house of love. The personal meaning of this house of love storytime is a gentle reminder that the emptiness you felt in the room of your heart was never proof love abandoned you. It has always been when Love himself has been calling you back home.